Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Greenwave TV, alternative media television. So what happens when the dollar collapses? More importantly, this bond bubble, the largest in American history, but really the largest in the world history, what happens when that just goes poof? When that collapses, when the largest bond bubble ever with interest rates down at zero, we look at the 30-year at around 3%, or if you've got $1 million and you've invested in the 30-year, the riskless rate, how laughable is that? You're only getting 3%, so that's about $30,000, which you can't survive on. So if you're a millionaire, you're actually broke. But that's why they've done it. They're forcing people to take risk, unnecessary risk, to push all those assets into the stock market or real estate to try to get some kind of return, which is only helping to influence and propel a bigger bubble than what we saw in 2008, much larger than before. Take a look what's happening at the Dow Jones Industrial Average today, although it's getting a little volatile. But what happens when this thing ultimately collapses? Well, let's say you have $1 million that's invested in the riskless rate at 3%, a 30-year bond, and let's say that interest rate doubles to 6%. All of a sudden you go from 3 to 6%, and that $1 million investment is actually worth only $500,000. Let's say it triples and goes to 9%. Now that investment that was originally $1 million is only $333,000. That's how much money you lose. And that's where we're headed. That's what's going to happen. Now, a rational mind would say, well, Christopher, then why would interest rates ever have to rise? Couldn't the government artificially suppress interest rates into an infinitum, into infinity? And actually, that's true. I think they'll honestly try to do that because they can't let interest rates rise without the entire nation, our debt problem, ceiling collapsing, everything literally collapsing into a gigantic death spiral worse than 2008. So they'll very likely try to do that. But at some point, the private market, just like we saw the sovereign defaults overseas in Europe, in places like Greece and the riots, etc., Spain, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, you know, those pigs nations. You know, I'm trying to do a pig sound, those pigs nations. Eventually it's coming here to the United States. So what are they going to do? They're going to mix that with war. It's going to be a big pot of war. A big pot of bloody guts, violence, death overseas in the Middle East. Death and destruction. And they're going to ask you to go fight. Go fight for America. Go fight to preserve that world reserve currency status now that everything's exploded and imploded and it's a death spiral and you're unemployed and it's worse than 1929 and you're looking and selling oranges on the street trying to keep your family alive while your brother or your dad's actually dying overseas in Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, or any one of those godforsaken Middle Eastern countries where we're only there because we need their blood money, their oil. That's what's going to happen. That's the future of the United States. Ain't too bright. Empires rise and fall, rise and fall. Guess where we are? We're on the cusp right here, going, woo! That's where we are in America today. Hardcore effing truth. One of the reasons I got out of the financial industry, the service industry, because I couldn't look a client in the eye or people in the eye and actually sell them on the idea that any of their money was actually going to be there in the next few years. Because I don't believe that it will. They'll try to hold this thing together. They'll try to massage it into infinity. But at some point, it all goes down the tubes. Interest rates rise, bond market collapses, take a look at Japan, and it's all over. It's all done. They won't be able to buy any more mortgage-backed securities. They won't be able to prop the dollar up anymore. Real estate will collapse once again, the stock market will collapse once again, and that'll be it. It'll be you, the guy on the street, having lost everything, paying the price for the albatross of debt, while the way super elite up here, right off into the sunset. And maybe start a new country somewhere else like space. You know, they'll call it Space Earth. That's where everybody will be in the future. Not you, but they will. The same banksters that caused the collapse and raped you in the first place. That's right. I'm Christopher Green. You've been watching Greenwave TV, alternative media television, and I just delivered the Daily Wave. Hard-hitting and in your face. Please get this video out everywhere. Subscribe to me on YouTube at cgreen34, Facebook at Greenwave TV, and Twitter at Greenwave. Peace.